This is my eyeshadow palette review for April. Welcome to everyone watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I will be reviewing the 4 new to me eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to test out in April. This is a very long time coming because some of these things were Christmas releases and I'm only just now getting around to reviewing these for you guys. I'm a bit of a slowpoke when it comes to reviewing makeup. It's because I want to make sure I use every single pan and spend a lot of time with my products before I make up my mind. So if there's a period in time like this, the winter season, when there's like Black Friday and Christmas sales, I tend to get a little bit more, and then it takes me a couple of months to get round to all of it. So yes, there is a Christmas palette in this pile. And before I get to these eyeshadows, I do want to point out that today is the day that MONOLITH is dropping their new launch. MONOLITH is a German website that ships to a lot of different places, and they mainly specialize in US indie brands. I've been affiliated with them for some time now, and I have a code with them as well. At the minute, my code should not be active, but I'll pop it on the screen anyway, and it's always linked in the description box down below. So if you were looking to buy anything from the website then, and you're interested in it, and you want to get 5% off, then you can. For full transparency, some of these were sent to me in PR, but some of them I also paid for with my own money, just to make sure that we all know that's clear here. All 4 of these palettes are currently available on MONOLITH anyway, and today is the drop with all of the new bits. So let me know in the comment down below if you are looking to buy anything, what it is that you will be purchasing. And then we can get to these eyeshadow palettes. So the first palette I want to talk about is the Wicked Widow Beauty Rocky Horror Show. And this is one that was sent to me in PR. This wasn't on my wish list. This was something that when I did my new makeup releases, I said, I don't really need it. I think I already have this color story. And now that I've used this, I've confirmed that for me. But the Wicked Widow Beauty formula is one that is really, really excellent. This is some really good quality makeup. And one of the looks that I've done with it is on my face today. I have a wedding to go to today, and my dress is going to be this lilac-y color. And this palette has some beautiful lilac-y purpley shades in. So I mainly use these like lilacs and lighter blues. And then this nice white, like pinky shifty shimmer is all over the lid to give it a little bit of oomph and whimsy to the look. But you can see that this is quite a colorful palette. I knew that I just already had a lot of these shades in my makeup collection, so that's why I'm still very appreciative that I got to try this and that I was able to receive this in PR, but this is not something I would have picked out for myself. There are a few shades that I just don't gravitate towards, and that's mainly these like 3 warmer pinks and the gold. Those I didn't use to create a look with because I just wasn't feeling it, and I actually struggled when I first started playing with this to really decide what I wanted to do with it. Usually I open up a palette and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. And with this one, I was a bit like, nothing here really, really, truly appeals to me. So that's why I did struggle with this one a little bit. I did one look initially and I was like, you know what, I know this formula already. It's very consistent with what other things I've tried from the brand. So I can still talk about this in my review, and if I don't get around to doing the other looks, then I don't even really mind it. It was just not that inspiring to me. But I ended up doing a look with these like purpley blues right here in the middle, and I did a look with these like greeny gray shades over here. And then I ended up doing the look that I've done today with these like blues and like very whimsical shades. There is one shade that I would still want to play around with, which is Floor Show. That looks like a silvery, like almost holographic shade, but it also seems to have quite a deep base. So that's why I was like, do I want to put it in a wedding look? I didn't want to risk that and have it be too dark. I wanted it to be nice and bright because my dress is the same color, so I wanted it to be quite tonal. So this is beautiful. It's really excellent quality. I can't knock it down for that. This is good formula eyeshadow. It's just that color story wise, I was like, I already have shades like this that can do that. There are shades in here that I don't necessarily love. So I would not have spent my own money on this, even though I know it's good eyeshadow. I mean, with all of these brands, actually the quality is amazing. For me, it really comes down to color story and sort of like lasting power on my face. that's really sort of where things sometimes go awry. But I feel that a lot of indie brands, I just feel it's all starting to feel a little bit the same for me. But the Wicked Widow Beauty Rocky Horror Show palette is excellent. It's good quality. I can't like knock it down for that. It's got fun colors in. It's also fun. But I already have a lot of palettes, and this one isn't really adding anything to my personal collection, but it could be to yours. So if you are someone who looks at this palette and is like, okay, I don't have that color story, I don't have shades like this. Like, this is a really beautiful shimmer, this like blurpily sort of shade that it has. I really also enjoyed this darker gray shade. It has this really nice finely milled shimmer to it. It's not super sparkly, and it looks really pretty. The mattes in here are really good, very easy to work with and blend, but still very pigmented as well. And I like the array of colors you get in here that are like lighter and darker. It's a very well-rounded palette for a colorful palette. So again, I can't knock it for the quality and what it does and how it works and how it performs. It just isn't something that I'm super excited for. And I'm not a Rocky Horror Picture Show fan necessarily. This one is a very long time coming. This is by Dede Signature. This is the Festive Elegance. This is a brand I hadn't tried before, and this was actually the first palette I played with this month. It's beautiful. It's very Christmassy. It's got like all of the festive season sort of colors you might want. And I realized when I was trying to do a video for you guys with like Christmas themed palettes that I didn't really have too many. So I was like struggling to find enough to feature in that video. I've at least added one that fits the bill, and this is beautiful, but this is very, very intense. I do believe that Dede Signature is a brand that is aiming their products a lot to people with a deeper skin tone, which is great. We don't get enough of that. I cannot stress that enough. But for someone who is pasty pale like me, it can be a little bit more of a struggle to then use the shades. The mattes in here are so pigmented that it took me quite a little bit of work to get them to look nice and to blend them. With good technique, you can make overly pigmented things work for you. Use a different brush, use a different technique, and you can definitely make it work. But I'm someone who does their makeup at like 8 a.m. in the morning before I head out to work, or sometimes even earlier. And I just need something quick and easy, and this isn't necessarily quick and easy. Is it beautiful? Absolutely. This has some really stunning shades in, especially these like green tone shimmers like on this side. Those are so, so beautiful. What I didn't love is that this red matte pulled pink on me, and the red shimmer pulled orange on me. And by pull, I mean like that's the direction it goes in. So it's a cool toned red with a warm toned red. But you can, of course, mix a little bit of the yellow into this red to make that look if you want to. There are options here. This is really, really minor details, and I do really appreciate that I now got the chance to try some Dede Signature. If you are someone who wants pigment to be the main driving force of your eyeshadow palettes, then I think the Dede Signature formula is one for you. I prefer blendability over pigmentation. It's just my personal preference. So for me, this was just a little bit too intense. And not because I can't work with it. I think the looks I did with this were absolutely gorgeous. But I do think that if I were to use this on a day-to-day basis, it's just going to take up a little bit too much brain space. I mean, I appreciate K-Beauty eyeshadows a lot for their blendability, right? So I am not someone who necessarily needs this level of pigmentation for things to show up. So that's why I'm like, yes, with a sheer, like with a wispier brush or with a lighter hand, I can definitely make this eyeshadow palette work. But we all know about my makeup collection that I have too many things as it is. And this then taking up so much brain space is not going to make it like my newest, like my new favorite eyeshadow palette in my makeup collection is what I'm trying to say. Beautiful, yes. Very pigmented, yes. Excellent for the target group that the brand is aimed at. Also, very, very much yes. This is excellent, excellent eyeshadow. It's really, really good. Let me stress that. But is it perfect for me? Maybe not. And it depends on who you are and what you like. whether this is going to be perfect for you. Another nicely intense eyeshadow palette is this shiny red number. This is by Cryptine Cosmetics. This is the Seraph, I never know how to say that, eyeshadow palette. And this, I mean, I was very excited for this when I saw this. And I still really, really enjoy this eyeshadow formula as well. I mean, it's excellent quality. I've said many times before in the past that I feel because a lot of indie brands have their palettes manufactured in China, that if you buy a C beauty brand like Cryptine Cosmetics, it's a little bit like cutting out the middleman and you're going straight to the source. So that's why a lot of C beauty brands are excellent quality. If you want like indie makeup quality, but not with the indie makeup price tag, then looking into C beauty can be very much worth it. With Kryptein, I do feel they are a little bit pricier, and it's a very similar price point to something like a Wicked Widow Beauty. So I feel you don't really have the benefit of that cutting out the middleman kind of thing with this brand in particular. But it is a gorgeous color story. Essentially what you're getting every single time is 2 shimmers and 2 mattes in every single quad. So I love that ratio. Yeah, 2 shimmers, 2 mattes, and then all of those colors go together really well. There's enough depth here for me. There's enough lightness for me. It has beautiful shades in that work together really well. I just went with the quads the way they are presented in the palette for the looks that I've done. Of course, you don't have to. You can also like mix and match. Like this deeper shade can very much work with a lot of the other things as well. You have options here. But what I want to talk about here is something that I've mentioned before on this channel, which is that these 3 shimmers are all like just intense metallics, really beautiful, really creamy, very easy to blend, great wear time. And then we get 3 multichromes in the other corner, right? It's the multichromes in this palette that let this palette down for me. And that's something I've mentioned before, as I said, because the mattes and the metallic shimmers, cooler tones, and the multichromes are all warm toned. They all have an incredibly warm flip. This is one of those like whites with a pink to peach sort of flip on it. This one is almost like a bronze copper with like a little bit more of a reddish, like brighter reddish flip. And then this one especially, like you can really see it in this lighting. It's more of like a brassy red with a green sort of flip to it, which is not something that I had clocked when I saw this online. I was hoping that those shimmers could be cool tones as well, that I would have liked this palette a lot more than I actually do. Now it just feels very standard, because I feel like these multichromes, which are supposed to be like the most exciting part about an eyeshadow palette, are A, really standard multichromes that we have seen in many other palettes before, or they just don't really suit the rest of the palette really well because it's an overly cooler tone palette, except for those 3 shimmers, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Of course, you could ignore those, but then you are taking one of the more like exciting formulas in this palette out of the equation, so I'm not sure I love that. Do they work well? Do they apply easily onto the face? Yes, yes, yes. All around, yes. Super pretty palette. The reds in this one, like I've now used several reds in different palettes. I've tried the Blend Bunny Haunt Me in March. I also tried the Cosmic Beauty Seraph, Death palette. I've tried the orangey tones in the Flame palette by Shall We and Ghoul, that collab. And then there's reds in here. And I think these reds are my favorite out of all of the things I've tried. A lot of the other reds in the other palettes, like with the Festive Elegance palette, all looked very differently, and in the quad, it didn't really come together. It happened for me in the Haunt Me palette, where one of the shades was a little bit more coral than red, and it had a little bit too much orange for my liking. Like, there was always something with the reds where I felt like, we've put reds in to add a visual pop in the pan, but in usage on the eye with those other palettes, I was like, nah, maybe not my favorite. But this quad works really nicely together. Even that shimmer does. Like, these shimmers are not bad shimmers, let me tell you. But I just, like, if this had more of a, like, it's like pinky peachy gold, and it's surrounded by these almost gray tones. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to put that shimmer with those shades. I would have wanted there to be like, there's almost like a hint of lilac in this shimmer right here. If this was like more of like a pinky lilac, like the thing I've got on my lids today, I mean, it exists, it's out there, I think this palette would have come together for me a little bit better. And I find it odd that it's only there in all of the multi-chromes and not in anything else in this palette. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're giving me like a blend of warm tones and cool tones, then make it a true blend of warm tones and cool tones. This just feels a little bit random, at least to me. Again, are the shades beautiful? Are the looks I did beautiful? Did this last well on my lids? Is there anything wrong with this formula? No. But as I have been mentioning, for me, formula is no longer the driving factor between whether I like something or not. It really has to do with these very nitpicky kind of things, because I've tried so much, because I have so much already that I can compare it to, and then I'm like, I know we can do better. I know we can do better as brands to give consumers a much more cohesive color story than this one is. And finally, the Old Soul by Glaminatrix. And it's not like I have no notes for this one. I do have a couple, but I think this was my favorite palette I've tried all month. This is very, very top tier. Again, very much a contender to be like top of the list for favorites of the year. I already know it. Glaminatrix is another brand that I already knew I loved. But I feel like Glaminatrix does like a different formula in almost every single palette. I don't feel they're super consistent. Like, it's still good eyeshadow, don't get me wrong. But I do feel they give you slightly different textures in everything they do. And this is one of those palettes, when I saw it announced, I was like, that's a good neutral palette. I might like that. I got it in, swatched it, and then I became a little unsure. I was like, is this perhaps a little too warm toned? Maybe there's a little bit too many deep tones for my liking. But then I started using it and I did looks with it and I was like, now I'm getting it. This is what I wanted an unoriginal nudes to be. So last year, Bella Beauty Bar's unoriginal nudes, stunning palette, but I had a couple of issues with some of the shades in that formula wise where I was like, I don't like these pressed glittery kind of things. Please take those out, and I would have liked the palette a lot better. There again, I also felt some of the undertones didn't match up the way I wanted them. I wanted them to, and with this, no such thing. No such thing. All of the undertones that I put together came together. The formulas in here are nice. There's even a little bit more interested in here because this looks like it's just going to be like a gray, like that these are two grays. But I hope the camera shows this because when the light hits it, it has this slight, but ever so slightly lilac-y sort of shade to it. If I had already tried this before filming a video you're gonna see really soon this week, I had to pre-film a little bit this week. So there is a video that's gonna go live in a couple of days about Periwinkle Shimmer, so you haven't seen that yet. But I would have featured this shade in that video if I hadn't filmed that already before I tried this. Life is catching up with me. What can you do? It's gorgeous. It has this really sort of lovely bluey periwinkle sort of vibe, but it still has a little bit of depth. It has a lot of sparkle to it, and it's absolutely stunning. So the way this one works in my brain is that we have these like almost like rosy purples up here. We've got some warm tones down here in the middle, and then this is your like cooler tone section. But we also get quite a bit of like cooler tone things in some of the other shimmers as well. So there's a really good mix here. We even get some things that are very good. Like this is more like a golden taupe, and then this is more of a gray leaning taupe. We all know I love a good taupe, so if a palette has that, we get a cooler and a warmer tone crease shade. We even have this like rosy tone with the pink. We have a black to deepen things up, but this purple is perfect for deepening things up if you want there to be a little bit more color. And I was afraid that these two shades would be too dark against my skin, because sometimes really dark tones while they may show up for other people, on my skin, if I were to like swatch them side by side, they all just look black because they're such a heavy black base, but not with these two. Whether I use the black, the purple, or this, it looks distinct. So again, also in the deeper section, you have something cool toned, you have something that fits the rosy sort of category, and you have a warmer tone matte that's going to help with deepening things up. It's such a well thought out palette. It all comes together. And even this very brassy yellow tone gold that I didn't think I was gonna like, I thought it looked stunning. I thought it looked stunning. It's just not the kind of shade that I gravitate towards, but in a palette called Old Soul that seems to be inspired by, like, I don't know, mining from the 19th century. That's the way I sort of feel about this one. I think that this is lovely. I definitely think that this is a very, very lovely palette. It has enough here for me to play with, and there are so many options here. I just really like it. I like the little bit of a surprise with like the pop of periwinkle this has. I don't know, it just has a lot going for it. The only downside to this one is that when I received it, I actually had this black shade be a little bit fragile on me, so I had to repress it, which I did, and it doesn't seem to keep crumbling, which is what I was afraid of. It's just that there is like little bits of shadow stuck on the rim of this pan, and it just keeps falling out every single time. So mine is a little bit messy. That's the only downside, but that has nothing to do with the quality of the eyeshadow, of course. That happened in transit. But yeah, I love this eyeshadow palette. I think it's absolutely beautiful. This is the kind of neutral palette that has me excited for neutral palettes again. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to loving neutrals, like we all know, I'm the biggest lover of a neutral palette. And this one really, really fits that bill, but not without like, it's just not repetitive. It's not like every other eyeshadow palette on the planet I've already tried, which is usually my main reason nowadays for not liking something anymore. So this is a neutral color story that has me excited, and that is a tough, like that's a tough feat to complete. So those were the 4 eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to test out in this video today. I like testing out a couple of eyeshadow palettes every single month, and I do showcase in my Shop My Stashes what eyeshadow palettes I will be trying for you next. So if you want to see what's going to be in my May review, I do want to do a bit of self-promotion here to tell you, check out my Shop My Stashes, because those are the videos where I show you what is in my everyday makeup drawer. I go over what things were successful for me last month and what things I will be testing out or maybe go back to. It's a little bit of a project pan at the same time, so there's always a lot going on within my Shop My Stashes for sure. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this video today. Thumbs it up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more by me. I post 4 times a week on this channel, once a week on my other channel, which is Floating in Books. That is all about anything that's like, it's about everything that's not makeup. So I post there once a week. Link is in the description box down below, and there you can also find other links to my social media. So for now, I really want to thank you for being here, and then I hope to see you again in a new video soon. Bye bye!